And the very first topic I want to touch upon is the fact that earlier in the week via social media and also via a few wrestling news websites, it was being reported, and the superstar himself posted on his social media that he wanted and had requested his release from WWE. And that man's name is Mustafa Ali. And the first thing I want to say about this is that for the past 2-3 years, or pretty much since All Elite Wrestling was founded and became a very viable second option for wrestling superstars out there, since they appeared on the scene, it seems that WWE is not the end-all be-all for these wrestling stars. It seems that getting and succeeding to WWE, or even just being contracted by WWE, is not the end goal of sorts. First and foremost, because WWE have released, at this point, hundreds of superstars and wrestlers and performers from their contracts ever since the pandemic started, which again can be attributed to the pandemic and to other circumstances, like WWE, for example, argumenting budget cuts, which a lot of wrestling fans I know don't buy, but sometimes that is a thing that's very, very believable, because number one, you as a wrestling fan don't know how their books are run. You don't know what kind of budget they do have every single year. You just think that, oh, like their net worth or the entire amount of their bank account is at their disposal to keep these stars and keep everybody else employed, and that's just not the fact. That's just not how you do business, and that's something that wrestling fans can't get over. But the fact of the matter is, a talented superstar like Mustafa Ali has requested his release from WWE. And more important is the fact that just a few hours ago it was reported that WWE is denying him his release. WWE is not letting Mustafa Ali out of his contract, which again, if you look at it in business terms, they're in their complete right to do that, because Mustafa Ali signed a contract with World Wrestling Entertainment for years, and as far as I know, he has years left on that deal. Now, you can say that you want to leave your job, but if your contract states that, okay, you're signed to us until 2025, and we don't want to release you, we don't want to run the risk of you running to our competition and making money for them and making headlines for them. And again, in a business landscape, that is completely fair, because what matters in business is the legal status, and the legal status of Mustafa Ali is that he is currently signed to WWE, and he can request his release, but it's not being granted, which again, a lot of wrestling fans will not understand this. They will try to call WWE the bad guy, because they've been doing that for years, simply because they're not letting him go. They're keeping him prisoner, to use that word. But the fact is, they're in their complete right, and it's not like that Mustafa Ali is being withheld his check every couple of weeks because of what he did. No, he requested a release. It wasn't granted. Okay, he still has a deal with WWE. They have to honor that deal and keep paying his guaranteed money. WWE is contractually obligated to do that. With that said, this is going to take weeks, it's going to take months, because I remember when Neville first asked for his release, he didn't appear on Raw for quite a few months, and he wasn't released until almost a year after he had requested, or he had completely bailed on any kind of storyline and character arc that he had been involved in at that time. So this is going to take a while, And wrestling fans are going to be adamant against WWE to let this guy go. And if it were up to me, I'd let him go too. If you don't want to be there, you shouldn't be there. But again, it's business, and WWE is handling it their way. Now, let's get to the fact that Mustafa Ali is a very talented wrestler. And I'm going to get into this later on in the show, but the fact is that Mustafa Ali is one of WWE's biggest wasted talents. And by wasted talents, I mean that this guy can go in that ring. He has proven it in the past. He wowed everyone at WrestleMania back in 2018 in New Orleans in that match against Cedric Alexander. Unfortunately, that also meant that both Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander were handcuffed at that time into the Cruiserweight division. And to WWE at that time, the Cruiserweight division was an entity unto itself, and they could not break away from that at any point in their career. So Mustafa Ali left the Cruiserweight division, and then in 2019 I believe, he was set to be a part of the Elimination Chamber match in February or March of 2019. He got injured, and I believe a big gauntlet match that they had on SmackDown Live at the time. And that allowed Kofi Kingston to be inserted into that match. And then we got the whole run of Kofi Mania. So Mustafa Ali got injured. Unfortunate series of events. Then in 2020, he was a leader of Retribution. He was revealed as the leader of Retribution. Unfortunately, that angle of Retribution would have been much more effective. It would have worked a lot more if there would have been fans in the stands at that time. The pandemic happened, another unfortunate set of circumstances. And then last year, he was a part of a tag team with Mansoor, which WWE gave some legs to, kept them running on Monday Night Raw, and then they broke them up for no good reason, and they both went their separate ways. And then Mustafa Ali hasn't been seen on WWE television in quite a while. He had a match with Drew McIntyre. He lost to Mansoor. He's been backstage trying to convince Ricochet to join him in his endeavors. That didn't work out. Overall, Mustafa Ali has been a character, a wrestler, a performer, a superstar, a man with so much potential in WWE, but that hasn't gotten that big break in any way possible. So again, he requested his release. I believe he's going to get it at one point. But when that point comes, I don't know. When WWE allows that to happen, I don't know. So with that said, what do you think about WWE not allowing Mustafa Ali to leave the company? And what do you think about Mustafa Ali requesting his release from the company? Do you think he should be more patient? Do you think he should give WWE another chance? I believe he's on SmackDown now, so that's the wrestling show. Mustafa Ali can go in that ring, and if he's just given the right match, the right opponent at the right time, he might hit his stride once again. We'll just have to wait and see. Leave your thoughts, comments, and predictions on the comments section below.